Salute to you all. The brave never fall. I always encounter people, I have conversations with people, or just observe people who are in a place where I feel like they know that they are they're heading in the right direction of self-discipline, but they're struggling to really grasp what self-discipline actually is for them. A lot of these people are based in self-discipline on what they see around them, who the people are around them, the things that are around them, the places that are around them, the circumstances, the memories, the stories they tell themselves about the past, the present, and the future. And they kind of move forward saying, I believe I'm doing all the right things in column A, I'm doing all the right things in column B, and all the right things in column C. What these people are failing to do is looking at all the things that they're not doing in column A, column B, and column C. Meaning they're not taking ownership of their own discipline. And it's not a perfect way of life. It's not some kind of a thing where you're just looking for perfection and you're looking for an end, because I always say perfection is kind of a mirage and there is no end. You'll never be perfect and you'll never stop growing. You'll never stop moving. As long as you're breathing, you are connected to this world with your soul, your essence, who you are. Your presence is important. Your presence is purpose. Do you have a peaceful presence or a chaotic one? Do you have a peaceful essence or a chaotic one? Chaos is definitely something that I think people find themselves in and now they don't even really realize and recognize that they are in a state of flux constantly that's teetering from not being disciplined and being disciplined, back and forth about certain things. We all do that. The question is, are you aware of the chaotic flux? Are you aware of the chaotic flux? And that's kind of the words that just been popping in my mind lately about people who kind of fluctuate back and forth between peace and chaos, created only for themselves. They have created this flux. It's not something that is just in them. It's something that you create through bad habits, through addictions, through dependency on things and people and places. The realization or lack thereof of your existence in a positive or negative way. Not understanding truly who you are. Not obtaining self-love. Sounds easy. Of course it's not. I think, or I believe for myself, I truly believe for myself that the flux that we all have, that chaotic flux, that needle that just keeps going back and forth from negative to positive throughout the day, it's about balance, which is why I gravitate towards Tao so much, because that is the purpose of each day. People look for purpose and they look for passion and inspiration and motivation, when all they have to do is look at themselves as the motivation. You balancing yourself out is your purpose. That is your duty every single day. I'll put a link in the description to a podcast we did in the prior phase 1 of your duty. And I'll put the link in the description and I talk about that. Check that one out if you're interested in what I mean by it's your duty to fulfill your purpose, not anyone else's. It's your obligation. I won't waste time talking about it here, but because I want to stay on this chaotic flux. Let's just face facts. I think going into phase 2, I want to focus more, even though we're going to expand on this concept of fluctuation and balancing. Phase 2 is a lot about balancing. It's about being real and who you are and being genuine in who you are. But also, if you went through phase 1, you should know what your purpose is. You should be at a place where you know there's a purpose to be fulfilled, that you are on a path. That balance is very important. And the only way to obtain it, you have to be real about every single situation, every person, every place, everything in your life. Brutally honest. Brutally honest. Because if you bullshit yourself, you're bullshitting everyone around you. If you are weak, every situation around you will become weak, unstable, fragile, destructive, chaotic, and it's unhealthy. It's toxic, and it leads nowhere. You will find yourself in a void of darkness, scrambling, trying to find your path, and you will never find it. If you get too far off, of course, you will find it eventually. But you're going, in the time that you're in it, it's going to feel like you're never going to find it, which leads to more problems because you've lost hope. You believe you're never going to find that path again because you've lost hope. And you've created all this yourself with a lack of self-discipline. This is separate from self-love. This is something that if you don't even have self-love yet, self-discipline will play a part in finding that. There's no perfect diagram or some kind of a mathematical equation that you can just boot into your phone and it'll remind you every day, take 2 steps left and it'll get you to a better place in your life as far as self-love goes. You have to try to obtain and balance out whatever you can. Creatively, intentionally, powerfully, impactfully do this. Find and focus on an area and you do not stop until you feel like you are at least at a place where you understand the balance that it would take to level that out and keep that flux, that chaotic flux, as a little bit of a twitch as possible. You don't want these big swings going back and forth. And I think that is something that I think people don't think about. Is that your self-discipline can derail on you. This goes for the most disciplined people you ever meet. You get stagnant. You start to pick up bad habits. We all do it. But it goes back to you. How truthful are you being about yourself? And are you able to project that truth from yourself outwards so other people can see your truth? Therefore, they can make an assessment of whether or not you are important in their lives, because it all goes hand in hand. That's why having toxic, fake people around you is very scary, because these people are trying to cling on to you. They want you to be weak. They want you to be undisciplined. They want you to question your self-love, your value for yourself. They want you to invest in them more than they're invested in you. They're feeding off you. They're getting energy. And the more positive you are, the better you can protect yourself. The more disciplined you are, the more self-control, respect, and love you have for yourself, you can protect yourself from these people, these places, these things, these addictions, all these things that you have in your life. You can protect yourself if you know who you are and what you are purposely doing in life, intentionally, not hoping and clinging to things in the dark, running around in a chaotic nature, hoping you find your path instead of saying, let me figure this out. I'm in the darkness, but I'm going to figure this out. Let me figure out how to create light in this darkness, and I'll be able to find my path. But you have to trust yourself to be able to make the light. No one's going to show up in the darkness to do it for you because they can't see you either. If there's other people in that darkness, they are too busy focused on themselves, trying to get themselves out. There may be some people scraggling around and trying to grab at your ankles and pull you down with them because they've lost so much hope they can't even stand anymore. This is the brave never fall. We get knocked down, we get right back up. We don't lay there and succumb to life. So the question is, how do you do this? You do it through purpose. That's the how. You do it through purpose. It's really the why. It's the what. It's the where. It's all purpose. You are the purpose. Every day that you wake up, you have purpose. The most primal, base level purpose you could possibly have, which is to not go backwards each day, to move forward and be honest with yourself. And if things aren't happening the way that you want them to in life, take a good look at yourself first. A lot of those answers are going to pop up real quick. That goes to trust. That's something I've been working on. And that's how I've kind of formulated in my mind because I'm a very visual person. I try to think, what do I feel in my life is right and what is wrong? And I can't shy away from the truths of what pops in my mind. They're there for a reason. They popped up for a reason. And if I feel like there's something that I need to adjust in my life to make myself better for not only myself, but my obligation to my son, I will do that. That is my purpose. My purpose is primarily to myself first, and then to my son. If I can't take care of myself, I will never be able to raise him to be a valuable person in life, a person who understands his purpose, a person who can come to me and say, Dad, what's the answers? I'm struggling here. Can you help me? And I can point him in the right direction. I'll never be able to do it for him completely because he is his own person. But I can at least show him through my self-discipline, self-control, respect of myself, the love I show to myself. I can at least show him this is the direction I took. These are the pitfalls that I had. And this is what I did when I was in the darkness to create light. And that also goes beyond him to all the other relationships with family members and friends and coworkers. Whoever you have in your life that's important to you, you have to be as truthful to them as you are to yourself, if not more. You don't want people having a false illusion about who you really are. You don't want people to believe you are doing things and hoping that you'll do things, and you're telling these people you'll do all these things and you aspire to do these things, yet in real time you are not doing anything that's anywhere remotely close to what you're saying you want to accomplish. They're just words. There's so many people that talk. They want to manifest. They want to become something. But they're not taking all of that seriously enough and implementing it into their self-discipline. And we all know people like this. They're all around us. They're in our households. They're in our beds. They're in our workplaces. They're in our churches. They're in our schools. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. And it's easy to pick up bad habits that way. It's very easy to pick up bad habits and self-discipline issues when you are surrounded by people who don't care about self-discipline, who do not have self-love, will never obtain it. We are who we are with. The people around us will shape us if we allow them to. Who are you surrounding yourself with? Who are the people that you need to take and say, what are you really bringing into my life as far as value? Or is it just some surface level value? There's levels to this shit. We have to get real with ourselves. We have to understand the value we have so we can understand the values of people and places and things around us. But people want to turn their backs to the mirrors and face people and act like they're the mirrors. We cling on to the wrong people. We mimic the wrong ideas. We create the wrong visions. We imagine the wrong visuals. We write the wrong stories. We whisper the wrong poems. We do all of these things out of a baseline, very weak level, surface level version of ourselves that is comfortable. Because to do anything opposite of that requires work, attention to detail, accountability, a self-esteem check. It may require us to have confrontations with people that we don't want to have confrontations with. It may cause us to lose people that we love based on the fact that we aren't really displaying to these people who we really are, and we're being fake about it. These are all things that I can speak very heavily on because I went through this. It's a chaotic flux. It's just those two words just keep popping in my mind when I think about this. It's that I'm good today, I'm not so good tomorrow. That teetering, that back and forth. Relationship is good, it's not so good. My work is great one day, it's not so great the next day. I want to go to this school. I don't want to go to that school. Oh, wait a minute. I do want to go to this school. I'm in love with this person. No, I'm not. Wait, do I? I am. I want to take this career. But wait a minute. Do I really want to go to school? It's just we go back and forth. And as I've been working on my trust issues, I've realized one important thing. The first thing that you think of is usually the right thing. And people say that, but I've been taking it one step further. When that thing pops into my mind, I put it into action now. I want it into the physical world. I don't want it just something in my mind. We all know that. We've heard that so many times. The first thing that pops in your mind is usually the right thing for you. Yes and no, because sometimes if you haven't really dived, really buried and like dug into the ground, like physically just labored into yourself and try to figure out who you are, that first thing that pop in your mind might not always be the right answer, but it would give you an indicator on where you are mentally, where you're at. And I like to get those things out physically. Anything that's in my mind, I try to get into the physical world as quickly as possible. And I want to deal with situations as quickly as possible. And there's been a lot of things that I've been thinking about lately, and a lot of people that I've been looking at, and I'm thinking to myself, as I learn to trust myself better, I'm starting to look at these people and say, what's the value that they truly bring? And will this person or this place or this thing be in my life in 10 years? Based on the current value, the growth chart for this particular person, place, or thing. Or is it time to jettison? If that pops in my mind that it's time to jettison, in the past, I would have just kind of glossed over it and said, it's just a thought. You've been ridiculous. Maybe you're not looking over all the factors. And then I realized, okay, I'm putting too much value on the person, place, or thing and not enough value on myself. It doesn't matter how much it hurts, how uncomfortable I get. Part of self-discipline for me now is saying, if I don't want to be with someone, I'm going to say it. If I don't want to be at a particular job, I'm going to move on. If I want to change my career, I'll do that. I'm going to do whatever it takes to make sure that I am following what my soul and my purpose in life is telling me to follow. And I trust that because I've gone so far with the shovel, digging in the dirt to find out who I am, to get off that base surface level comfortable version of myself and really figure myself out. And I've made enough decisions and during my awakening that now I can trust myself to say, when I make these decisions, they're usually turning out to be more than right, better than I ever thought. Because I'm not putting myself in bad situations. Every one of these situations is based on positivity. They're not based on negativity. They're based on compassion, empathy, an understanding of who I am and what I want in life and what I need to do. And whatever's holding me back, even if it's by 10%, if it's not bringing me value, it's gone. That's not saying that you can't have fun. That's not saying you can't go out and have a night where you're not thinking about. That doesn't mean you're like some kind of intense robot machine Terminator from the future. That's not what that means. In fact, it means the complete opposite. That means I'm ensuring that I have joy and happiness and peace and purpose in my life. That ensures that nothing is going to make me stay in darkness, to make me believe I can't create light in darkness and give myself hope. That means I am embracing my joy, my peace, and my purpose and my reality for who I am. I wake up every day and now it's about joy. Joy through my challenges and the struggles I choose to put myself in because I want to grow. I want to see what I'm made of. That doesn't vibe with everyone, so be it. But for me, I like to challenge myself. I want to push myself and figure out who the hell I am. If I hadn't done that, there are so many people, places, and things in my life that I have right now that came from a direct mindset of I'm going to go get it through peace and purpose. And through my own individuality, feeling free, but also connected to the other people that help me get to these places, to get these things, and to develop these relationships. And ultimately, that all culminates into self-love, self-discipline, self-control, self-respect for yourself. You realize when you wake up, if you just get through the day just grounded in self-love, every decision is made behind that, there is always positivity in that. And that oozes out of you, and that energy will project onto other people. And that's when people want to come towards you. The people who understand that will come towards you. And they'll change the things they need to change to bring value in your life because they know you're bringing value into their lives. Now you have a strong network. You have a good, strong core team of people around you that you can trust, truly trust. And they're doing everything that they're supposed to do. And if they're not, and they're saying, oh, I need to do this. This is my goal, but I'm really not trying that hard. That's on them. You can't save them. And you probably should start thinking about what value that they're ultimately bringing in your life, because if they have that mentality, they're projecting that onto you. They're going to want you to mirror it if they're close enough to you. You have to look at people like this. The truth hurts. But no one is saying you have to call them out on it. That's their job to figure themselves out. You are not on this planet to save people. You're on this planet if you are a leader. If you're a leader, you're on this planet to fulfill your purpose, and your purpose will ultimately project out the positivity that will help other people without you even realizing it. That is the value of being a leader. Holding yourself accountable. True accountability for yourself. And understanding each step you take is through self-love. No excuses. No excuses. You take, as Jocko says, extreme ownership of your responsibility and your duty as an individual to wake up and create your own damn happiness. And if you aren't happy, the only way you're going to get there is through pain. It's through a struggle, a challenge that you have to create for yourself. I do not buy into the fact that when people tell you not to give yourself struggle, that because life is too hard already, don't do it. Bullshit. That's not true. You have to push yourself. Nobody's telling you to go out and damn near kill yourself to become a better person. But you can damn well do more than what you're doing now. There is no room for excuses like that. Push yourself. Give yourself a challenge. If you have a goal, meet it. Shorten the gap between that chaotic flux. We all have it. But shorten the gap in there. Own up to who you are. If you're going to set a goal, work towards it as hard as you can every single day. Make it a focal point. You will find joy in that struggle. You will find joy in that challenge. You will find joy in the people who are doing the same thing you are. They will appreciate you more. They will see your value. They will see that you have self-love, self-control, self-respect, self-discipline. They'll see that even though we aren't all perfectly balanced, you're doing everything in your power to fulfill your daily purpose of being the best version of yourself. And not giving in to all the weak things that we as human beings so easily embrace when things get too hard. You are better than that. You are greatness, and you are here now. You are not that utopian tree on the top of the hill that cannot move and go anywhere, but you're just so beautiful. Everything's great. I'm on the top of the hill. The sun's shining. There's a rainbow behind me. Everything's great until the guy comes around with the axe and chops you down, chops you up in little pieces, and sells half of you to some company, and then burns the rest for firewood and cooks an animal on top of you, and then pours water in you, and then your ashes. And believe me, there's no phoenix flying out of that. Balancing out your chaotic flux, as I call it, being aware of that is going to help you. You got to figure out and accept your goals, your ambitions, and your purpose in life, and go after them. And if no one has told you this today, I love you. You deserve to hear that. Salute to you all. The brave never fall.